I was rushing to get dinner ready after working overtime when my father-in-law walked in, took a bite, and spit it out on the floor. "This is what you feed him." He turned to my husband and said, "Your mother raised you better." My husband didn't even look at me. He just said, "We'll order out." When I opened the trash later that night, my journals were inside, torn up, and in their place, a takeout menu taped to the fridge, labeled emergency. I work hard. Not just at my job, but at everything. I don't half-ass anything. I'm the one who keeps the bills paid, the fridge stocked, the house clean, the birthdays remembered. I don't ask for much. Just respect. A thank you once in a while. A little kindness. But apparently, even that was too much for Sean and his father. Let me back up. I'm 38. Sean's 40. We live in Elk Grove, California, in a plain two-bedroom house on a quiet street. Nothing fancy, but we made it home. Or so I thought. Sean and I have been married for 8 years. We met at a friend's wedding, hit it off, moved in together within 6 months, and got married a year later. We never had kids. We wanted them, but timing, finances, and health stuff just made it not happen. That's fine. I poured my energy into our life together. Our home. Us. But the truth is, I did most of the work. Sean's father, Richard, was always in the background. He'd show up unannounced, stay too long, drink too much, and talk down to me like I was his maid. Every time he did, I'd look to Sean to say something. He never did. He always said, "That's just how he is." That Tuesday night, I'd worked a 12-hour day. My boss dumped 3 deadlines on me right before I left. I had a migraine from staring at spreadsheets. I didn't even eat lunch. But I knew Sean would be hungry, and I knew Richard was in town. So I didn't go straight to bed or pour myself a drink. I went to the kitchen. I made real food. Nothing frozen, nothing out of a box. Pan-seared chicken breasts seasoned with thyme, garlic, and lemon. Mashed potatoes from scratch, skins left on, just the way Sean likes. Green beans sautéed in olive oil. The works. I was still wearing my office blouse, which had a coffee stain on the sleeve. My feet were killing me from heels. I didn't care. I was proud of that dinner. Tired, but proud. Then Richard walked in. No greeting. No hello. He sniffed the air and said, "Smells like someone's burning something." I said, "Dinner's almost ready," and set a plate down in front of him. He took a bite of the chicken. One bite. Then he spat it onto the floor. Didn't even try to hide it. Just turned and looked at Sean, who was walking in behind him. "This is what you feed him," Richard said, pointing at me like I was some stranger. Then he laughed. "Your mother raised you better." I looked at Sean. He didn't defend me. He didn't scold his father. He didn't even look at me. He just said, "We'll order out." Like it was nothing. Like I hadn't just worked 12 hours and made him a full dinner. Like I wasn't standing right there with a serving spoon still in my hand. He walked over to the drawer and pulled out a takeout menu from a Thai place we order from maybe once a month. He handed it to Richard. "Crab fried rice?" Sean asked, like we were at some restaurant, not in our home that I spent years building. I felt something shut off inside me. I didn't argue. I didn't say a word. I put the serving spoon down, walked upstairs, and shut the door to our bedroom. I took a long shower. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just stood there, hot water running down my face, wondering what the hell just happened. I stayed in bed for the rest of the night. I heard them downstairs, laughing and drinking. The sound of takeout containers opening. Silverware clinking. My food still sitting cold on the table, untouched. Around midnight, I got up to clean the kitchen. It was always my job. I figured I'd throw out the food I made, wipe down the counters, and go back to bed. I opened the trash can. At first, I thought I was seeing things. Then I realized what I was looking at. My journals. Not just thrown away, ripped apart. Shredded, like someone had gone through them with a knife or scissors. Pages crumpled and torn. My handwriting, my secrets, my thoughts, all in pieces. I pulled out a few scraps. One had a paragraph I wrote about feeling invisible in this marriage. Another had a grocery list. The one with the leather cover, The one Sean gave me for my birthday 3 years ago was in the bottom of the trash, the spine cracked open like a broken bone. I couldn't breathe. Then I saw the fridge. The takeout menu was taped to the center of it. And in thick red Sharpie, someone had written the word emergency across it. I stared at it for a full minute. I wasn't even mad at first. Just numb. Cold. Like something had snapped and gone quiet in my brain. Like I was outside of my body, watching it all from across the room. That was the moment I knew something had to change. I wasn't going to fight with Sean. I wasn't going to cry in front of Richard. I was going to make sure they both learned what it felt like to be humiliated. To be made small. To be treated like they didn't matter. And I knew exactly how to do it. I didn't say anything the next day. I got up early, made coffee, cleaned the kitchen like always, and left for work before either of them woke up. Sean texted me around noon. Hey, didn't see you this morning. You okay? I stared at it for a second, then put my phone down. No, I wasn't okay. But I wasn't going to spell it out anymore. If he didn't see what he did, that was his problem, not mine. I spent the whole day thinking about what to do. Not just how to get back at them, but how to do it smart. Something that would sting. Something they couldn't laugh off over crab fried rice and cold beer. By the time I got home that night, Richard was gone. Back to his condo in Walnut Creek, thank God. Sean was on the couch, TV blaring, a bag of chips in his lap. Like nothing happened. Like he hadn't tossed my journals in the trash like they were scraps. Hey, he said without looking up. There's leftover pad thai in the fridge if you want it. That was it. No apology. No explanation. I went upstairs. I didn't say a word. I didn't eat. That night, I started going through everything. Bank statements, emails, phone records. I wasn't even sure what I was looking for at first, just something, anything that gave me control. That's when I found it. There were charges on our joint card that I didn't recognize. Mostly small stuff. Gift shops, gas stations, 2 hotel charges in Sacramento. One of them was from last month. The name of the hotel was familiar. I called the place the next day during my lunch break. Told them I was checking on a reservation I made for my husband. I played dumb. Said I forgot the exact dates. They pulled it up right away. Sean had stayed there for 2 nights in April. Alone supposedly. Except that wasn't the name he used for the guest form. He signed it Sean and Beth. I didn't know any Beths. Not in our family. Not in our circle. That night, I checked his phone when he was in the shower. I'd never done it before. I always believed in trust. But I wasn't going to play the fool anymore. He didn't even bother deleting the texts. There she was, Beth. Her full name came up in his contacts. Beth Kramer. The last few texts from her made my stomach turn. Last weekend was perfect. Miss you already. I still think about how you looked in that mirror. Is she catching on yet? My hands went cold. I wanted to scream. Throw the phone across the room. But I didn't. I took pictures of everything. Forwarded the messages to my own phone. Quiet. Calm. Like I was reading someone else's nightmare. I started building my plan. Sean worked from home on Fridays. He always took long lunches, usually out somewhere with his laptop and coffee. That next Friday, I waited until he left. Then I went through the house. I gathered every card, every note, every receipt, every reminder of Beth. I took screenshots of everything on his computer, emails, messages, even the video calls he'd made to her. And then I found something even better. He wasn't just cheating. He was helping Richard with something shady. I found an email chain about some cash investment Richard had put in Sean's name. Something about keeping it off the books. Some kind of sketchy land deal out near Modesto. Sean was hiding money. And helping his dad do it. That changed everything. It wasn't just about my ruined journals anymore. It wasn't just about a bad dinner or a sharp joke on my fridge. They thought I was a nobody. A housewife with a job she hated and no real power. They had no idea who they were messing with. So I started writing things down. Every detail. Every name. Every dollar. I reached out to a lawyer. Quietly, through a friend. She told me what I already suspected. If I played this right, I could leave with everything. The house, the savings, maybe even some of Richard's investments. I just had to wait. Gather more. Be patient. And all the while, I smiled. Made dinner. Cleaned the house. Let Sean think everything was fine. He even had the nerve to say, "I'm glad we're getting back to normal." I looked him right in the eye and said, "Me too." Sean started getting sloppy. Maybe it was because I stopped reacting. Maybe it was because I stopped asking him where he was going or when he'd be home. He thought I was checked out, that I was done fighting. But I was just getting started. Beth started calling the house. Not often, but enough. Once, on a Sunday morning, Sean left his phone in the kitchen. He was out front watering the lawn. It buzzed on the counter, and her name flashed across the screen. Beth. Work contact winking face. I picked it up. I didn't answer. I let it go to voicemail. She left one. And it was the best mistake she ever made. "Hey babe, just wondering if I should cancel next weekend. I know you said your wife's been weird lately, but if she's still clueless, I'd love that hotel again. Same room? Call me. Same room. Same story. Same script." I saved the voicemail. Sent it to my lawyer. She said it was excellent. I started keeping a burner phone in my glove box. Everything got backed up there. Texts, voicemails, screenshots, even pictures of his laptop screen I took while he was in the shower. But something unexpected happened. Richard showed up again. This time it wasn't a surprise. Sean told me a week in advance. "Dad's got business in town. He'll crash here for a few nights." I smiled and said, "That's fine." Richard was in a good mood when he arrived. Too good. He brought a bottle of bourbon and acted like he suddenly liked me. Kept saying how great it was that I was getting back into the groove. I knew he was up to something. I found out what on the second night. He came home drunk from a meeting and stumbled into the kitchen while I was putting away dishes. "You know," he slurred, "you're not as useless as I thought." I didn't respond. I just kept wiping down the counter. He took that as an invitation. "You keep your mouth shut. You get to keep the house. Maybe even the car." I froze. "What?" He smiled wide. "Sloppy." His breath reeked of bourbon. "We know you've been snooping. Sean says you've been acting weird, going through his stuff, calling numbers, asking questions." He leaned in. "So here's the deal. You keep quiet, don't go digging where you don't belong, and when we cash out on this Modesto deal, Sean will take care of you. Divorce or no divorce." It was like he forgot I was a human being. I didn't say a word. I just walked past him and went to bed. The next morning, I told Sean I needed to take a day off work to decompress. He nodded, barely listening. I spent the day with my lawyer. She said we had enough. More than enough. But I wanted more. I wanted proof that Richard knew what he was doing was illegal. And I had an idea of how to get it. That weekend, I invited my friend Dana over. She's a notary and used to work as a legal secretary. Smart. Quiet. Sharp. We staged a little get-together. Drinks, snacks, fake laughter. I told Sean it was just a girls' night. He stayed upstairs. Richard didn't. He came down, saw Dana, and immediately started talking shop. He bragged. Loud. Proud. About how they'd laundered some land money through a side contractor. How they moved funds around in a way that would make the IRS need a week to find them. Dana recorded the whole thing on her phone. And yes, she got consent. Because Richard, drunk as ever, agreed to spill the real story for fun. It was gold. I had everything I needed. Almost. Because then Beth showed up at her house. She knocked on the door on a random Tuesday afternoon. I was home early from work. Sean wasn't. She looked shocked to see me. "Oh," she said. "I thought you'd be at work." I just stared at her. "What do you want?" She hesitated. "I left something in Sean's car. He said I could stop by." That was it. I stepped aside. "Be my guest." She walked into her house like she belonged there. She even waved at the cat. As she headed toward the garage door, I said, "Beth, right?" She froze. I added, "Funny. That's the name on your hotel registration." Her face went pale. I didn't need to say anything else. She turned around and walked out the front door.
Fast.
Almost ran. That night, Sean was furious. Why'd you say something to her? I shrugged. Because she's been calling my house. He rubbed his face like I was the problem. I didn't argue. I just made dinner. And as he chewed his food, clueless, I smiled and checked my burner phone under the table. Next phase was coming. The one where I'd take back everything they tried to strip from me. I waited one more week. Just one. Long enough for Sean to relax. Long enough for Richard to come back over and pour himself into our couch like he owned it. Long enough for them to feel safe again. And then I dropped the bomb. It was a Sunday afternoon. Richard was watching a football game in the living room. Sean was in his office upstairs, pretending to work, but probably texting Beth. I walked in holding a manila envelope. Inside it were copies of the hotel charges, the messages, the voicemail, the audio recording Dana made, and most importantly, documents showing the Modesto land deal was actually an illegal transfer involving shell accounts, signed by Sean under Richard's name. I handed it to Richard first. He opened it, flipped through the papers, and stopped cold when he saw a photo of himself passed out drunk in our backyard, taken 3 nights earlier. "What's this?" he asked. I sat across from him. "This is everything I've collected. Every secret. Every lie. Every mess you two have made."
He scoffed.
"You think this scares me?" "No," I said calmly. "But the IRS might be interested. So would the state board. And Beth's husband." He flinched. He didn't know I knew about that. Beth was married. Found her husband through LinkedIn after seeing her last name in one of Sean's texts. I sent him the hotel receipts anonymously. Richard stood up, his voice louder. "You think you can blackmail your way out of a divorce?" I smiled. "Oh no. I want the divorce. But I'm going to bury you both first." I walked upstairs, left Richard steaming. Sean was on the phone, probably with Beth. I handed him a second envelope. "What's this?" "Your exit papers." He flipped through the pages. His face dropped. "This is everything." "Yep." He got up, voice low and tense. "You went through my computer?" "I went through everything. And I sent it all to the lawyer already. Yours and mine." He looked at me like he was about to snap. "You're ruining your life." I laughed.
"No.
"I'm burning down the one you tried to trap me in." Within a week, I had moved into a small apartment downtown. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. Paid for by a portion of the joint savings the lawyer froze before Sean could drain it. Beth's husband filed for divorce and posted the hotel footage on social media. She lost her job. Sean's name got dragged right along with hers. Even some coworkers saw it. Richard? He got audited. Turns out, he'd been cutting corners for years. When the feds came knocking, Sean tried to lie. They found the forged documents with his name on them. He's still under investigation. They begged me not to go public. Too late. I sent copies to everyone. Sean's job, Richard's real estate partners, even Beth's church. But here's where I'll admit something. I made one mistake. I waited too long. I stayed in that marriage a year longer than I should have. Let things slide. Swallowed disrespect like it was part of the job. Told myself it wasn't that bad. That's on me. But I fixed it.
And now?
They get to spend the rest of their lives trying to clean up the mess I walked away from. I don't regret a damn thing.